Wiping storage media after the data is no longer required can be an important part of an organization's security policy. What we're going to do in this example is we're going to take a look at using the built-in Linux dd command to wipe a disk partition. The first thing I'll do here in Kali Linux is I'm going to run sudo fdisk-l so I can list my disk devices. Because this is the first time I've run sudo in this session, I'll have to specify the password for the Kali user, and the password, of course, is just Kali. Now, what I'm interested in pointing out here is that we've got a couple of devices shown. /dev/sdc, it's a 5 gig drive. We've got /dev/sda, which is already carved out into 3 partitions. And if we scroll back up a little bit here, we've got /dev/sdb. Naturally, SDA is the first disk, SDB is the second, and so on. What we're going to do is carve out a partition on SDB. So to do that, we're going to run fdisk. Actually, we're going to run sudo fdisk against /dev/sdb. Now, the first thing we're going to do is press N to build a new partition. And it's going to be primary, which is the default. So I'm just going to go ahead and press Enter. And it's going to be primary partition number 1. So I'll accept that default by pressing Enter again. And same for the first sector and the last sector. Now, the last thing I have to do here is press W to write this to the partition table on disk. So to commit it, in other words. So now if I do that, let's just clear. Let's run sudo fdisk-l once again for list. And if we just scroll back up just a little bit, back to SDB, we've now got /dev/sdb1. Now, the next thing we're going to do here is format the new partition so it's usable. So let's clear the screen and let's run sudo makefs, that's make file system -t, ext4 is the file system type, and /dev/sdb1. So I'm going to press Enter. Now, this is step 6 in the exercise. Once that's completed, we've got a usable file system. So what we want to do is make sure we can get to it through a directory mount point. So I'm going to create a subdirectory here using sudo makedir/datavol. It's going to be on the root of my current file system. And what I want to do is make sure that we mount our dev sdb1 to that datavol folder. So to do that, we're going to run sudo mount. And we're going to specify that we want to mount /dev/sdb1 space. We want that available in /the datavol folder. So Linux uses these folder mount points instead of drive letters like Windows would use for a new partition by default. So now if I change directory /datavol, I'm in the data volume. If I do ls, well, there's nothing here. But what we're really looking at is the contents of the partition we just created on device SDB. So that partition is SDB1. So now that we've done that, in step 9, what we're going to do is create some sample files here. And to do that, I'm going to run sudo touch. Touch creates 0-byte files. So we're going to make it in /datavol, which is our current directory. And we want the files to be called file and then 1, 2, 3. So that'll create file 1, file 2, file 3, .txt. Notice I've enclosed here in step number 9 the 1, 2, 3 with an opening and closing curly braces. So I'll press Enter, I'll type ls. There are the 3 sample files that we've got here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wipe that disk partition using the dd command. This is step 11 in the exercise. So to do that, we're going to run sudo dd space if. So the input device we're going to use is /dev/u random, so a random number generator. And OF for the output here is going to be again /dev/sdb1. And I'm going to go ahead and press Enter. So naturally, depending on how big that device is would really determine how long this would normally take. In our case, it's only 5 gig. Okay, so at this point, it's finished overwriting that device. So if we do an ls of /datavol, we're not going to see anything because it's just been wiped. So the last thing we're going to do here, as per step 13 in the exercise, is we're going to unmount that file system using sudo umount /dev/sdb1. This is the same type of thing you would do in Windows to delete a drive letter mapping. Now, if you get a message about the target being busy, it's because someone is in that subdirectory. So let me do a cd ... to get out of that subdirectory. Let's use our up arrow key to get back to that umount command once again, and this time it works successfully. So there are many tools out there then that will let you properly wipe data from a disk so that there are no remnants that can be recovered by unauthorized users.